Hello everyone! The video lecture that I have today covers the topic Methods in Java. Further, I will demonstrate an example program applying the combination of returning value and void methods. So now let's start. So this is our program. So our inputs are the first name, last name, and age. And these are the two methods na gagawan natin. Yung isa, applying void method, we will display the complete name and age. While for the second method, which is applying returning value method, i-identify niya if the age is qualified to vote or not. So, para hindi tayo malito, uunahin muna natin yung unang method, which is displaying the complete name and age. But before that, we'll have to code first for our inputs. And of course, the presence of our class and the main method. The user will input during runtime, so therefore, gagamit tayo ng it's either buffered reader or scanner. So for this example, we will use buffered reader. So we'll start with the java.io followed by the class declaration, and the name of the class is return value and void method example. Then the declaration of the main method and the declaration of the buffered reader class. We will now declare for the variable or the variables that will hold for our inputs. So we have the first name, the last name, and the age. So for the first name and last name, we will use the string type. So we'll use the variable L name for last name and F name for the first name. Next is the age. Our data type for the age is integer. So we have int age. Before let's proceed with the input statement, let's have first the different labels of our first name, last name, and age using the system.out.print. Enter first name. Then let's have the input statement wherein ang mag-hold ng value ng first name is fname. Fname is equal to our input statement for string is we have br coming from our instance or reference to buffered reader dot readline. Let's have the last name. So we'll just edit this one. And the variable that will hold for the last name is the variable L name. Next is the age. So we'll have it here, enter age. And the variable that will hold for the age is the variable age. And for the input statement, for int is integer.parseInt br.readline. Now, let's move on to the different important points. So, since ang gagawin natin is void method with parameter, we have this one. So, unahin muna natin yan. Let's have the following. Initialization or input of the values are coded here, which will serve as our actual parameter. So, we have coded here already. Method call should have its actual parameter. So, now, we will create for our method call. Since wala pa tayong ginagawang method, pagpalagay na lang muna natin na ang ipapangalan natin doon sa method natin na i-declare natin mamaya is display info. And then, it should have its actual parameter. So, ang i-display natin is the complete name and age. So, therefore, we will be needing the first name, the last name, and the age. And they are represented by fname, lname, and age. So, ilalagay natin siya dito sa loob ng method call. Fname, lname, age. Let's proceed in defining our method. So, magdi-declare na tayo ng display info method. And i-declare natin siya sa labas ng main method but still inside the class. So in declaring for a method, we have the use of public so that anyone from the class can access it, the presence of the keyword static, space, the return type. So ang return type natin is void. So return type is void, therefore no return statement is needed in the method body. So ang gagamitin nating return type ay void. Next is the name of the method. So, ang pinangalan natin dito is display info. So, we'll declare it as display info. Followed by open and close parentheses. Next, the argument list should have parameter, which will later on known as the formal parameter, and have same number and type of parameters as declared in the method call. So, katulad nga ng diniscuss ko sa mga naunang recorded lectures ko, dapat mag-match yung parameter dito sa ating argument list doon sa parameter ng ating method call. So, sa ating method call, it has 3 parameters. Therefore, dito sa ating argument list, na later on magiging formal parameters na, dapat 3 din. And you have to take note on the data type or type na gagamitin natin. Kung paano yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng meron sa method call, ganun rin dapat pagdating na sa pagde-define natin ng method. Okay? So, fname, take note, fname is a string. So, unahin natin si fname. So, string, we'll use the variable fn. Therefore, yung value ng fname ay mapapasa na kay variable fn, comma, lname. So, your lname again is a string. So, we have string. Gamitan na lang natin ng variable na ln, space, age. The age is an integer. So, we have it int, and ipasa rin kay variable a. Dapat mag-match and at the same time magkakasunod according sa kung ano ang na-declare doon sa ating method call. So, hindi pwedeng magkabaliktad na yung age ay nandito sa umpisa. That will serve as a compile error. So, balik natin. Followed by open curly brace. Next, dito na natin ipe-perform kung ano man yung function na gagawin ni display info. If we will take a look on the problem, so nakalagay doon, you will display the complete name and age. So, ang mangyayari, pagsasamahin si first name and last name, at i-display din yung age. Since void was the return type used, displaying the output will be coded in the method body. So, dito tayo mag-display. Dito na natin i-display yung magiging output. Ang gagamitin natin is of course the presence of system.out.println. Pagsasamahin natin yung complete name. So, lagyan muna natin ng label na complete name. And then, pagsamahin natin si fn. We have the use of the plus sign. So, fn plus. So, fn is represented by this one coming from fname. Okay? Then, lagyan natin siya ng space. So, we have the presence of the double quotation. And then, idugtong na natin yung last name. ln. So, kung pansin ninyo, yung variable na ginamit natin, pag inappend natin yung variable sa gitna, you should have the plus, the variable, and then plus. But, kapag inappend natin ang variable sa last, just simply plus and then the variable. Next, i-display naman na natin ang age. We'll just label it age and then the variable that will hold for the age, A. So, tapos na tayo sa unang method, which is applying void method. Now, let's proceed to the second one, applying returning value method. So, itong program lang din na ito ang gagamitin natin. We'll move on to the next. So, returning value method with parameter. So, balik tayo sa ating main method. So, idagdag na lang natin sa naunang method call. So, initialization or input of the values are coded here which will serve as actual parameter. So, eto na. Eto lang din naman ang kakailanganin natin. Ang kakailanganin lang naman natin is the age. Method call should have its actual parameter. Kaya gawa ulit tayo ng panibagong method which will later on i-declare natin. Ipangalan nating display remarks. It should have its actual parameter. Ang gagawan natin is i-identify kung yung age ay qualified to vote or not. Therefore, ang ipapasa natin is only the input age. Then, since returning value method with parameter ito, so you will select it's either you display the method call. So, when we say display yung method call, we'll have system.out.println there, ganyan. Or, in case you didn't display the method call, make sure you'll display the output in the created user-defined method. So, kung hindi mo siya lalagyan ng display or system.out.println, walang ganyan, make sure i-display mo siya doon sa gagawin mong method. Okay? So, explore natin yan later on kung ano yung difference ng dinisplay yung method call dito or i-display doon sa gagawing method. For the meantime, ang gagawin natin is katulad ng mga naunang examples natin na kapag returning value method with parameter is dito tayo mag-display. So now, let's proceed in creating our user-defined method. In creating that, make sure na nasa labas ka ng isang method, but still inside the class. Huwag sana kayong ma-confuse sa dami ng method by the presence of those curly braces. This is the main method. This is the display info method. Applying the void method, and now let's have the applying the returning value method. So, dito tayo mag-declare. So, lagyan ko na lang ito ng comment. This is end of main method, and this is the end of display info method. The access modifier public, static. Our return type is not void and will vary depending on the data type or type of the expected output. So, let's analyze ano ba yung magiging output ng program natin. Kasi ang nakaslagay dito is it will vary depending on the data type or type of the expected output. Our output is, i-identify niya if the age is qualified to vote or not. So, ang magiging output natin is qualified to vote or not qualified to vote. And that is word or words. Kaya, ang magiging return type natin is string. Followed by the name of the method. So, ang ginamit natin dito is display remarks, followed by the argument list should have parameter, also known as formal parameter, and have the same number and type of parameters as declared in the method call. So, ang nasa method call natin, ipinasa yung age, kaya ang magiging laman ng argument list natin is the age. And that age is identified as integer. So, int, gamitin natin yung variable na a, which will later on, dyan maipapasa yung value ng age. Let's have now the function or kung ano ang gagawin ni display remarks. Identifying if the age is qualified to vote or not. So, if we will analyze, ang qualified lang to vote is 18 years old and above. Gagamit tayo ng selection statement. Specifically, the use of if-else. Kaya ang ilalagay natin dito ay if followed by a certain condition. So, our age here is variable A. Ang age na qualified mag-vote is dapat 18 years old and above. So, it should be greater than or equal to 18. Open curly brace. So, this is end of if. Ito naman ay end of display remarks. So, if our condition here is true, ang i-display ng program natin is qualified to vote. But, if we will consider the following, return statement is required in the method body using the return keyword together with the computed or expected output. So, ang computed or expected natin na output is qualified to vote. Yan ang hinihinging output. Since gumamit tayo ng return type na string, therefore, ito yung i-return nating output. Kaya, gagamit tayo ng return keyword. Return qualified to vote. What if our condition here is false? Doon pupunta sa ating else. And this is, lagyan ko ng comment, end of else. So, kung false yung condition, ang i-return naman niya is not qualified to vote. So, take a look on the following. We use the return statement because our return type is not void, a data type, or a type. We have returned a string sakto doon sa ating return type which is also a string. Going back doon sa sinabi ko kanina na method call, so ang ginawa natin is dinisplay natin yung method call, kaya ang mangyayari, i-call na lang niya itong method na ito, i-return niya yung output na qualified to vote. Madi-display na din kasi we have the system.out.println. Kung gagawin natin itong pangalawa na in case you didn't display the method call, so kung gagawin natin yan, aalisin natin ito. Make sure you'll display the output in the created user-defined method. Kailangan i-display mo daw siya dito. So, dapat ilagay nyo siya before nung return statement para hindi magkaroon ng compile error. Ibalik muna natin sa nauna kanina para makita natin yung difference, kung may difference ba sa output. Okay, let's run the file. Ay, may error tayo. Ayun. May error sa program natin. There is a runtime exception kasi nakita ko na. We forgot the throws IO exception in the declaration of our main method. Kasi gumamit tayo ng buffered reader and it is needed. So, ayan na. Sample 1. Last name, De La Cruz. Enter age. Example 19. Then, ang mangyayari na, Di-display niya yung complete name kasi ito muna magkakaroon ng method called fname to fn, lname to ln, age to a. Di-display na yung fn and ln na Juan de la Cruz and then the age. Then after that, kukol naman niya tong display remarks and ipapasa niya yung value ng age and i-identify if qualified to vote or not. Okay. So, din-display na niya yung complete name, age 19, and then qualified to vote because 19 is greater than or equal to 18. So, explore din ulit natin yung walang display dito, and then basta dapat hindi mawawala yung return statement. Okay, let's run. Tingnan natin kung magdi-display din. Macon, Mendoza, age 2. So, na-display niya ng tama. Okay, try din nating i-run na kapag false naman yung ating condition. Sample Macon, Mendoza, age is 16. Okay, not qualified to vote. And paano kapag equal sa 18? Still qualified to vote. So this is an example of a combination of returning value method and void method. So I hope nasundan nyo yung ating lecture for today. I'll be uploading more example programs in Java. Thank you and have a good day to everyone.